the surfers made their way back to Hawaii for the 1975 season, there was unmistakably something in the air, and it wasn't the sweet tropical scent of plumeria. It was something closer to adrenaline. More seasoned in challenging waves, scarily confident, the new crew felt that this was going to be their year.
You had this irrational group of kids, and they came over here from Australia, and they came over here from South Africa, and they walked into this town just going, hey, we've got some new moves, we've got some new boards, we've got some new attitude, we got a new act. It was just like going to a contest, because the surfing that you saw watching go on with these guys was phenomenal.
And Ian and I were surfing backdoor, and Sean was surfing off the wall. And that's when suddenly the focus went down here.
Backdoor, off the wall, which were the rights on the other side of Pipeline, because up to that point, nobody really thought about going right. Everything, well, you can only go left at Pipeline.
That year, I think a real camaraderie developed with the South Africans and the Aussies.
If we all appeared on the beach and off the wall, there was this, really friendly vibe amongst us in the water, but there was an underlying, today's going to be my day.
Ian and I were a team. Sean and Michael Thompson were a bit of a team. MR and Mark Warren and that crew, the McCoy guys, had a house, and it was really friendly, beautiful rivalry, but it was on.
Every day it was just like, if the sun was up and the cameras were on the beach, everyone stayed there all day. I mean, Sean used to pack his lunch every day because he didn't want to miss a good wave. He'd be down there with his little candy bars and his juices and stuff. It was just a different time.
There was always, a duel, Ilmar, Sean, at the beach. Who can outdo the other?
We were so pumped up and out there and really didn't have much else to do except just get up in the morning and go surfing and charge it.
The magazines, specifically Surfing and Surfer, all of a sudden started to identify with this new crew. And all of a sudden, the whole off-the-wall phenomenon became a focal point.
I remember Terry Fitzgerald coming down and having a real go at us one day, going, man, we're up at Rocky Point, there's not one camera there. They've all followed you punks down off the wall. What's going on? I'm going, wow, we're just surfing. Really, we weren't trying to take over. We were just trying to arrive. We were just trying to be part of it.
We wanted to be the most aggressive. We wanted to be the most radical. We wanted to do the new maneuvers, and we're trying to get noticed.
People forget that prior to us going to Off the Wall, there was no Off the Wall. It never existed. We made that spot.
Pushing the performance levels. I think everyone was starting to experiment a little bit with equipment. Sean on that Blue Spider Murphy board with the yellow O'Neill wetsuit was pioneering, the depth that you could ride in the tube but off the wall.
We were all just sort of taking off, and you'd set up the tube, follow that line, and hopefully you'd come out, And you were breaking your tracks, you were going up and down, and you're actually surfing very similar to how the guys surf now in the tube,
When you get into a deep barrel, it certainly feels like time's expanded, like life has slowed down. I felt that I could curve that wall to my will. I really felt that. It's a magical, magical moment. It's an incredible moment.
My God, he changed the way we rode tubes off the wall. Like all of us at the time. We were thinking about what we could do to leave our mark. And Sean, you know, had a huge influence of the evolvement of modern day tube riding.
He's doing things on single fins in the 70s that, you know, a lot of guys aren't doing on their thrusters now. You know, the barrel shots, there's some slow motion shots of him riding the foam ball. Just unbelievable, modern, way ahead of its time barrel riding.
I knew that Sean was really aiming to extend what was the known boundaries of performance surfing at Pipeline, and so I wanted to go with him.
Pipeline just was that wave that had that aura of danger, terror associated with it. So for me it was important to go out there and test myself against it.
If you talk about any wave in the world, any hollow wave, people always try to compare it to Pipeline, you know? And it's because it is the most intense wave, maybe in the world.
Definitely, I was scared of Pipeline. There's no, I will say that straight. I feared that wave.
There's a big poster on my friend's wall at his house of a guy dropping in at Pipe. And that image just, it just freaked me out. It just stuck in my brain. When I was a kid, I never thought I'd surf a wave like that. In fact, it didn't really even scare me because I thought I'm never going to put myself in that situation.
You got to be quick. You got to pull in quick. You got to know what you're doing. People die at Pipe. You know, every year somebody dies just about. And that's where you get hurt the most. You ever been hurt out there? That's where I got hurt a couple times.
God damn, Pipeline is just hairball. You know, I dove the spot to just check the bottom out, you know, and there's these big, mean, nasty coral heads. And if you go down in the wrong spot, you're going to rip your heart out, you know. And a lot of guys they've lost a lot of guys at the Pipeline.
Me and Sean had a pact. This is a pact we had. We both agreed that no matter what, on your backhand, you make the drop. No matter what, you use all your skills, all your ability, all your instinct, all your survival mechanism to make the drop.
The Goofy Puts wave, and here they were backsiders, you know, dropping into the temple, you know, going the wrong way. Pipeline was the place that had its set hierarchy.
It was always Rory and Jerry. Forehand, beautiful positioning, not doing a lot, but really looking pretty.
There was an entirely different approach backside. Things were being done which were never done before, and that's the truth. Up until that year, nobody surfed Pipeline like that. No one would break a track. Nobody would go vertical. The boards just didn't allow it. The boards were too straight.
I have a special board for the spot. Board I ride nowhere else. As you can see, the board's got really a lot of curve in it, which one needs to get down the tremendous drops of this place.
Pipeline going backside on single fins just astounds me. You know, I wouldn't want to do it today.
They all developed a way of actually, delaying the bottom turn a little bit and getting their body in a position where they could get tube backside of pipe, which was sort of thought to be fairly impossible.
On your backhand, you just have to draw your line and go for it.
You do not want that lip to land on your head because it will rip the head right off your shoulders.
These guys gouged the hell out of the place, and particularly I recall Rabbit Bartholomew's brashness. and Michael Thompson's sheer balls.
I don't think anybody took off deeper than me. I say that now for sure, with absolute, unequivocal certainty. I think it's the most important thing I did as a surfer, because it stayed with me forever, you know. The photographs, the vision in my mind, I can see it. It's absolutely beautiful, but terrifying too.
At a time when Mello was cool, the Australians were anything but. Confident to the point of cockiness, brash beyond belief, their noisy arrival prompted some to wonder just how many Aussies on a small island constituted critical mass.
You know, the Australians, when they started coming to the North Shore, you know, and there was like a different mindset on their approach. You know, I mean, our approach was, you go out there, you sort of wait for the best wave, you know, you don't waste your time on those waves, you wait for the best one, you get the best one, you ride it the longest, and then the whole little group of Aussies came over here, and it was like just tear apart anything, catch anything, and just whatever's moving, just rip it to shreds, you know?
I just got a bit out of hand, used to drop in, used to take a lot of waves, pissed a lot of people off.
My attitude in the water was probably a bit over the top. I definitely took too many waves.
Australians are pushy people. I mean, if you know, they like to talk about how great they are and this and that, and I don't know why, but they do.
It doesn't matter what sport it is. Aussies like kicking the shit out of other countries.
We'll play really, really hard within the rules, as hard as you can go. But at the end of the day, we like to shake hands, have a beer, and it's over.
The Australians are very competitive people, almost paranoidly so. They compete sometimes in areas where you don't need to compete. You know, I never lost to Australians. Used to beat them regularly. Oh, that really pisses them off.
There was many other Australians that had come to the North Shore prior to 74, 75. Like, this attitude that we saw happening was unique, and it didn't exist prior to those years.
It was just sort of like four crazy Aussies that just went for it everywhere. And, you know, we just went nuts. Because when you're brought up in Australia and you're a young grom, you get worked by the older guys. And you get berated mentally and verbally and sometimes physically, and you just get yelled at. And if you don't learn how to stand up for yourself and say, oh, fuck you, you know, this is, you got to sort of verbally fight. That's how you're brought up as Australian. So, you know, we're culturally just very, very different to this sort of, you know, calm and, you know, I guess we sort of came in and rocked the boat.